everyone, and welcome to the Creativators. I'm your host, Kathleen Johnson. This is where creativity meets activism, and we talk about social justice issues. We'll talk to everybody from painters, dancers, actors, and people really doing social justice work out there in the field, as well as academics and politicians. I hope you enjoy the many discussions we're going to have, and let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Kathleen Johnson, and I'm your host of the Creativators podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, Canadian royalty, I would say, Canadian music royalty. And I'll let him do all the talking. But Choclair is joining us in studio today in downtown Vancouver.
Hello, everybody.
He's in town. He's doing a show tonight. And I guess tell the people a little bit about yourself first off, and then we'll get into it.
For the people that know, I've been a hip hop artist. I don't have to explain to the people that know, but the people that don't know, I'm from Toronto, Scarborough. Grew up. Funny story. As I'm on the road with Mocha Only and Prevail, is one of the first times that I came out here. I don't know if it's still open, but it was called the Moon Room. It was out here. And the first time that I met the Rascals, and the first time that I saw them, that they were on, I don't know if it was Rap City or Electric Circus. They were the Ragamuffin Rascals back then. And I came out here on a Beat Factory tour, and I ended up meeting them at the Moon Room. Either Moon Room or Richards on Richards, one of those two. And then they came up to me and they say, "Hey, what up, Shocks?" And I was like, "Yo, how do you know me? Because you guys are the Rascals, right? You guys been on TV and doing it." And this is when everybody was struggling to go and get their music out. And these guys are out. And it was very humbling and just a vibe to go and I'd be like, "You guys know me, I know you, and I'm nobody, and you know me." And then a great friendship created out of that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the Rascals were pivotal and pioneers in so many ways. They were some of the first out that were getting recognition, gaining traction. It was so exciting to watch.
Yeah, and it was great with speaking on the Rascals again, when they took a stand at the Junos, and they were upset. Well, we all were, but they were upset at the fact that hip hop wasn't getting its representation, and they declined their Juno at one time because they weren't getting the representation. And then the next year, because of what they did, and all of us stood behind them on it, that they went and had the first time in I don't even know how many years had a hip hop band. I say band, but had a hip hop crew perform on the TV scheduled show on the Sunday night on whatever channel it was, and be live like that, and to get the award. So big love to the Rascals on that for sure, because they took a stand, and everybody had to go and check it out. It's almost like when Jully Black changed a piece of the national anthem, and everybody took a stand on that, and it was all good standing. So big up to the Rascals on that, and Jully Black.
Well, that's a beautiful segue to one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and that is Jully Black's statement at the last Junos. There was a panel, and she was talking about investment in urban music and how it's still a struggle. And, she's like, we need seed money. We need backing, and we need capital. And why do you think, even after yourself, Maestro, Mishi, they're on stamps? All this recognition, Drake, The Weeknd, we've proven ourselves. So why do you think the Canadian music, hip hop, urban scene is still lacking funding?
So what I would say is that it doesn't have to. It's not necessarily like definitely the like if you were to cut the pie, 80 to 85% of it is going to be as they call it urban music. We call it black music and we call it hip hop music. That doesn't get the thing is because for whatever reason, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is I find that sometimes we need validation before we go and claim them. Like, and then you go and sit there and talk about anybody else. Like, so Chaos comes out and he does this thing, and then he's doing with Crabs in the Bucket and this one and that one and that one, and then they'd see them on back then to see them on BET and MTV2 and all this other stuff, and then they claim them. You get like Avril Lavigne and she's doing Skater Boy and she's doing her thing, and then they're like she does it and she goes over there and then somebody goes and claim them. And then Bare Naked Ladies, they do their thing. They were in Speaker's Corner on Queen and John back in the day, whatever, and then they go over there and then we claim them. The problem is that I think is that we got to stop claiming people after they're there. Right? Like we claim them when they're there. And I think that's the important part of what we need to be doing is actually supporting the artists when they come out. Right. And, you know, you never know where it's going to go. It's like a dice roll, you know, like they could go and do this and do that. But I find that the reason why we got to keep pushing it is because there's still this outside I'm looking for the word outside out there. Like they go and say, yeah, this guy is good or this person is good. And then they'll say, yeah, but they're from here. But they don't say they're from here. And we push them to outwards. And that's why I think that's important for us in the genre of music that we do. Because, you know, we really gotta, we don't get the recognition off the jump, right? And then when they're actually big, because like Drake, for example, he did a couple of songs over here, but until he was linked up with like Lil Wayne, it was like, you know, Lil Wayne was doing his Carter 5 or Carter 4 or Carter 3, whatever album was. Like, and no disrespect, but like I don't remember what record it was. But then it was like Drake was linked to it, and then they were like, yeah, Drake is ours.
Yeah. And
it's like, well, why does it take for it to go over there for us to claim it back? We should claim it before it goes over there. And that thing, and it's just great for everybody to go. And even with that being said, it's like, it's still great that when they're claiming, they hold it tight and they hold it on. I think he had like, I don't know, like 15 feet of ice somewhere in Toronto, and people were like sitting there and climbing it. And that's for his album that's coming out. And like, now that's what they're doing, right? Like you could just throw a big piece of ice out and now everybody is claiming that. But I wish they would have done it at the beginning, but 100% success. Thanks to Drake on his success. But like, yeah, I just think it's like, that's why we got to keep pushing, because people don't recognize you unless you're done something elsewhere. And then they claim you back, but not claiming you when you're starting. And
yeah, and you know, we're right next door to the biggest machine in the world,
right?
You know, so I think
they don't like
tempting.
us that much right now because we don't take their bourbon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a whole other escalation.
Yeah, let's not go down.
I mean, sometimes I've heard from Americans like, what's in the water in Canada? Because there's so much talent that comes out of there. You know, and I think for such a small place, they don't think that that's possible. And when you talk about acting, we've got like, you know, the two Ryans, and we've got like some heavy, and even from back in the day, you had like Neil Young and like some really heavy hitters in any genre you can think of. And it's sometimes like, what is going on? And then I heard an explanation like, Canada really cares about the arts. Like Canadian people really love to partake in art.
Well, you know what I think is, this is just my opinion, is so like, and if we're gonna go in just on geography, it's like America, they have like, well, they're celebrating their 250 years this year, so they have like people and people and people, right? I'm going to assume, I don't know for sure, but like myself and anybody else within, I don't know if I'm I'm definitely not a millennial. I'm not Gen Z or whatever, but I don't know what Gen I am. But my era
I think we're Gen X.
We're Gen X?
Yeah.
So a lot of the Gen X that comes in, right? We're first generation Canadians as far as like our parents came here and we're the firstborn here. And why I think our music is so, and just our whole thing is because and this is not just because people will always take it when they hear like someone like me, they'll think, oh, okay, yeah, we talking about Caribbean and West Indian and everything. But no, I grew up with like East Europeans and whatever, and everything, like just, I don't know where I grew up in Scarborough, but we're all first generations of wherever we are. So we bring our culture to here, right? And then the music and the stuff that we do, like when you listen to Cardinal, like he's first generation here as well. So he brings a lot of Jamaican in his stuff. And then other artists like Carl Wolf, you know, like he's first generation Lebanese, and he brings it with his, I'm going to completely mutter up the whole word, but Habibi, Habib or something like that. Sorry if I messed that up. Don't get mad at me and don't send me hate letters. But like he brings all of that. So we bring our culture into the way that we listen to music and distribute music in the way that we hear it. And I think that's the basis why of like our music goes far, because we're not generic. We are codified with all of the music that we actually do. And I think that's the biggest strength on our side, because like my kids are now second generation Canadian, right? And but they're getting like, oh my gosh, what was it? It's what is February when everybody comes back from Trinidad and Dr. J does his welcome home party and stuff like that, and then Caravana, and then everybody from Virginia, New York, Atlanta, or whatever, everybody is up in town, coming and partying up over here, and they're like, yeah, because everybody's here, and that is what makes us so special. America will always say like, yeah, they're the melting pot, but no, we're the melting pot, because you might have a lot of people that, you know, grew up and they have a history of their own in the States, but here, our history up here is like, a lot of people came up here, especially in East Coast, where part of the Underground Railroad showed up, Africville, and then even in Port Stanley near St. Thomas in London, Ontario, where the Underground Railroad rolled up in there, so that we have that. But a lot of us are immigrants and migrants that came up to this place, and now we're going to put our culture into our music. And I think that's why people really like our music when they hear it, because we're authentic with the way that we, sorry, I bumped the mic. They're authentic in the way that we display our music, in the way that we talk, the way that we do things. And to be honest, I think a lot of other places are jealous that they don't have the culture that we have up here. We can get everything up here. States will say one thing, but really, if you really come to, well, I'll say Toronto, but I'll also say Canada. If you really come up here, you really are really seeing diversity in whichever. And
yeah, I think it's like they're a melting pot. We're a mosaic. So we're good. Like, bring who you are, and we stitch together.
Exactly.
In this fabric. And they're like, more, you come from this place, but then you're American. And you have to, I think it's more like pressure to assimilate in America.
I hate the word assimilate, because like I look at it as assimilate to what? You know, like assimilate to you? Now, who are you to say for me to assimilate to? You could be, I don't know, you know, and I'm not picking anybody out, but you could be like someone from, so I won't even say a place, but you could be someone for here, and you're here, and you're saying, oh yeah, you have to assimilate too.
I think there's like this imaginary standard, and you're right. We probably don't sit down and think about, well, what am I assimilating to? Like when my parents came here, they were like, you fit in, you speak this way, you speak properly, you present yourself this way. And that is for people to accept you. But like what you're saying is like, but what does that even mean?
Right. Because it's like, you're trying to make me assimilate to what? To you? Right? And it's like, I assimilate to everybody, right? Because I'm going a little bit down this road that I hate to go down to, but like it's like one of those things of like, I hate talking about stuff like this because everybody
this is like, a place to do it. We love that here.
Well, like, okay, so I'm not religious in that way. But like everybody will go and assimilate to what? Assimilate to Judeo-Christian or assimilate to Jewish or Islamic or whatever. All of the tenets and all of those things that everybody talks about in all these different situations that really at the end of the day, the most things is always like, there's always like I know there's more than what I'm going to say, but like if I'm going to pick three of them, it's be nice to others, don't do this and don't do that. I know I didn't say anything, but like there's three of them and you can pick these three things that people will talk about. And it's like at the end of the day, it's just be a nice person and be nice to others. Mm-hmm. Right. And you can believe in this and you can believe in that and you can believe in whatever. But all of the stuff that you believe in, it all amounts to just be a good person, right? So when I see people say like assimilate, it's like, what? You know, like.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. You're not assimilating to a set of characteristics.
No,
you're assimilating to an image
of what they want it to be. But it's like, you know, you can go and just be that person. And I have Look. He's a very good friend of mine. He's part of the circle from when I was part of the artists that I grew up with. And I remember he had a chain and it said Allah. He was Muslim. And he used to go and sit there and he would be like, I got to use the bathroom. And he'd go and take off his chain and give it to us because of his religion. He's like, I can't use the bathroom with Allah around my thing. And like, cool. And you just hold it for him. There was no debate and no talk and no this and no that. And then he came back and it's like, yeah, here's a chain and put it on. But like, he's a product of society, right? Mm-hmm. And he's done good. He's great. He's like this big time lawyer now and everything like that. This is going like to 93. And when we were all starting, and I just kind of look at it as, it's like I hate when they say you have to assimilate, but then when people say you have to assimilate, but assimilate to what? To mm-hmm. you? Mm-hmm. So if you assimilate or you need to go in, I know this is probably going all the way left from the conversation that you were trying. I know you're going to be like, how's transit music and what's going on? How's the tour going?
I have a few more questions, but I mean, I'm letting you cook.
Yeah, because and then just being on the road and everybody that I meet and it's like, like there's so much that gets us together than that divides us. And everybody nitpicks on certain things and strings. It's like they'll look at your sweater and be like, oh, there's a string that's out. And then they'll go and say, I pulled that string out for you. You didn't assimilate. You should have shopped at Chanel instead of the thrift store. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of those weird things that I don't get. But I don't really want to. I do and I don't, because if I get really deep into like I got opinions. But yeah.
It's opinion central over here. I got tons of opinions, okay, but I'm loving this. But I did want to actually mention one thing, because I noticed your first release, Ice Cold. And now we're at, like, it just seems to be an interesting bookends kind of situation, because now we have Drake with Iceman. Oh, I never actually put that together. I knew it was coming, but I never thought about it like that. Okay, you tell me. So I was wondering if that's a coincidence, or if, because I know that scene, like y'all were running around Toronto around the same time, doing your thing around the same time. And
me and Drake?
Well, is that like in that Toronto phase? Because I think he came out with like Comeback Season a couple years after you won a Juno.
Well, like
Like
I'm
one of the
probably
many Junos that you've won.
yeah, but I'm probably 6 to 8 years before he dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
he dropped.
But how have you had that experience where you've served to be that kind of, whether intentionally or not, that kind of inspiration, or people saying, "Yeah, I watched you do this, and it let me know that I could do it."
Yes, and it's extremely humbling to go to some place. I'll give you an example. So I was somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but I remember what happened. So somebody comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, Shocks, I remember seeing you back." Like, so this is like, let's say it's 2015 or something like that, around that time. And he's like, "Yeah, like, Shocks, I remember you came to this place here back in the day. And I asked you to sign this $100 bill." And I remember that because I remember signing a $100. I signed it. And then 17, 18 years later, it's like, "Yo, Shocks, you remember me?" Of course, I'm like, "No," because I don't. And he's like, "You signed this $100 bill for me." So he pulls it out of his back pocket in a case like how you would have your Michael Jordan rookie card in the glass case, and like, "You signed this one side for me back then. I need you to sign this side for me." And he pulls out the $100 bill. I was like, "Man, you good because you didn't get broke down like that. We had to break this $100 bill." And he's like, "No,
Wow.
I saved it." And like, so that type of thing for me is when you're talking about hitting people with music and just music and being, I'm a fan of music, so when I meet like artists, like I'm cool with Redman, but Redman coming, I see Redman, I'm kind of like, yo, I know, yeah, he calls me and stuff, but like, yo, it's Redman still, it's Redman. And they go, and he told me, the dude, not Redman, but the other guy, he told me, "Yo, now you got to sign the other side." And he pulled out the same $100 bill. And I'm like, "You kept this?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it's a crazy thing, and being on the road is like I'm meeting people that I met 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and they bring up the stuff or merchandise that I signed, like the t-shirt on the shoulder or something like that. And they're like, "You signed this back in 2001. What is this? Like, so that's like 25 years ago." And they held on to it and went and saw that I was going to be back there, and they want me to sign the other side. And then, like, you'd be a chump to not go and realize that how much that you impact that person, right? And we, like, our gasoline, our fuel is our fans and support. And it's always a great thing to go and see and feel the support and the fan support and the respect that you get from others. And that's one of the things that I say to a lot of artists that are coming up is like, you might have a bad day. I'll show you an example. One day I was at this club, and I was sitting there at this club, and this guy goes, "Yo, man, yo, Shocks, I would love to go and get you a shot." And then everybody's like, "Shocks, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go." Because I don't know where I had to go, but they're like, everybody's rushing me, like, literally pulling my arm, like, "Yo, come on." And I said, "Wait." And I was like, "Yeah." And then the person was like, they're like, "Man, I don't know whenever I'm ever gonna see you again in this proximity of me being around you like this. I just want to do a shot with you." Now, if I didn't drink, then that would be like, "Yeah, I don't drink. Oh, okay, I'll take a shot of Sprite." So regardless on the drink, that's not the situation. But it was like, I will never be in this situation again. I don't believe I'll be in this situation again where I'm this close to you. I'm a big fan of you. Let me go and buy you a drink. And then I had to tell everybody, wait, because here's somebody, whichever. And I think that's big. I'm a wrestling fan. I hung out with Bret Hart. That was one of the biggest things that I ever did. I still remember, I tell all these people all the time how much. It's like, yo, I was at Bret Hart. I had $200 on me and I bought him a $300 wine. Don't know where I got the other $100 from, but I bought it for him and I'll never forget it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of what I'm a fan of. And so when I meet people and I just get so humbled and I'm just like, no, okay, thanks, thank you. But then I put it in perspective of like, but this is me when I meet other people that I'm a fan of, right? Like, and I don't take it for granted. I find that very, very great, and I never take it for granted. I love it, and then I try to go and do better, so I don't do something that they would be like, this is my guy, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, like, I hijack a school bus, and now somebody's gonna go and cut this and say I hijacked a school bus. But no, I'm saying in context, I'm saying I don't hijack a school bus and go and do some type of crazy, and they're like, no, Shocks, no, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the music, and Eddie Murphy was the guy that made me want to go and do entertainment. And a lot of comedian friends that I know, they don't understand that. And I was like, I went and saw, because I didn't, at that time, it was about like 88. And I think it was. And then, so we all saw Trading Places, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cops and whatever. And then me and I got two brothers. I know my mom loves us, but I know she wished she had a daughter somewhere. But it's just three boys, and we were like, "Oh, this Eddie Murphy Rob movie is coming out." She's like, back when they had the movie rating AA, adult a compliment or whatever. You need an adult with you to watch it, and she's like. My mom goes to church on Sunday, does whatever with the church on Wednesdays, something on a Friday, Sunday school on a Sunday, and church on a Sunday, and repeats. And she's like, oh, okay, well, let me watch the movie first to see if it's appropriate. She watched the movie, came down like she was Moses with gray hairs, 2 bricks in her hand, walking down the road, and like, you are not seeing this movie at all. And then, of course, what happens? We go and see the movie. And Eddie Murphy was, because he was controlling the crowd. And I was like, there's no music playing. He makes them laugh when he wants to make them laugh. He makes them quiet when he's trying to tell the story, the way he tells the story. And when I listen to like Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock, and a lot of other people, their storytelling, the way that they round back, there's, and I was like, man, he's doing all of that and there's no music. He's an entertainer. Eddie Murphy was the guy that put me to want to, like, I was rapping at that time, but I was like, he was the one that wanted to make me be an entertainer. And I don't take anything that I have accumulated over, I don't know when did I start, like 96? Somebody do the math for me. I suck at math, but I'm great at English. 30 years?
Yeah. It's been a minute.
I never, for those 30 years, I've never taken anything for granted, and I appreciate everybody that's been there for me because, it's just a pleasure to meet all the people that I've met, be the places that I've been. It's just a pleasure. It's a blessing.
Well, this has been a blessing and a pleasure. And I did want to ask you about the Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah, ask me, please.
Did they just like knock on your door and say, hey, do you want to do the anthem for this World Series run? Like, how did that come about? And I mean, yeah, and then you can mention transit after. But I wanted to ask you about the Blue Jays thing.
So the Blue Jays thing came about. Azim came up to me and he had an idea for the song, and I was like, yeah, because I'm a hometown guy. So like once the Raptors, they lost yesterday, that sucked, to Cleveland. But if the Raptors are out of the playoffs, I'll chime in and listen, but I'm off of the NBA at that point. If the Blue Jays aren't going great, I'm off of the Blue Jays. The Leafs are not in the playoffs. I'm not really fun. I'm a home team guy. I'm Toronto through blue, red, whatever FC you call it, whatever. Like I'm Toronto all the way. If they don't make it, and I don't pay attention anymore. And it was just one of those things of like, when I was coming up, it was like everybody was like small towning Toronto. You know, like I live in a small town right now. I live in St. Thomas, which is like about 20 minutes south of London, right? By like Port Stanley, which is funny because of the area that I live in. Port Stanley was one of the areas of where the Underground Railroad ended. And St. Thomas was one of the areas where the Ku Klux Klan headquarters were. And a lot of history there, right? It's going back years, right? It's there's no, well, I don't know. I'm sure there's a small clan somewhere, but like it's not like that, you know? It's just, it was all about giving pride to our city, because once like a Northern Touch came out, and then Let's Ride came out, I remember back like early 1999, people started wearing Blue Jay hats, and then they started getting like the yellow hats, the camouflage hats, the purple hats. Like it wasn't just blue hats. It was like, and it was like a pride going into the city. And I would give complete credit to people like, well, to myself also, but also to Saukrates and Jully Black, the queen. Jully Black is the queen, and if anybody has anything to say against that, Jully Black is the
undisputed.
queen.
That's undisputed.
Queen.
Yeah.
And all of us were trying to do, and others, we created pride in the city and said, yo, you know, we are Toronto. I give this to Danny O, because he checks everybody. Danny O will come, and if you were in a Boston Red Sox hat, New York Yankees hat, a Pittsburgh Pirate hat, California Angels hat, whatever, and he sees you with no questions asked, like, take that shit off. It's like, we only wear Jays hats over here. And I'll be like, don't be so aggressive.
I follow Daniel on Instagram. He's real.
Yo, Blue Jay, he'll tell you, he'll be like, yo, no, you can't wear that shit around. Excuse my language. You can't wear that stuff around here. But that's the pride that we all tried to put in here. And then now we see it, you know? And
so it was a natural fit.
Yeah, because I think it was just took, and I'm not saying it was me, but there was a whole bunch of others that said, have pride in your town, have pride in your city, have pride where you're from. Even in the city, like if you west, if you east and whatever. But then that all comes together, and like, you know, like amalgamation, it just becomes, and now became the dot. It emerged to the 6. I don't know where it's going to merge to the other, but the foundation stones is the dot, right? T dot O dot. Then it went to the T dot O. Then it went to the T dot. Then it's not the dot, and then now it's not a 6, and all this other stuff. And it's great to see that it how it evolved into that, because there's so many great artists, and yeah, it's really a great thing. And I would ask you, what do you think when did you find the transition of that holding back into, like, you know, like the culture of the city? Like, when did you be like, wow, like there's a lot of Toronto love going on right now?
Well, I have a tattoo of the CN Tower, so that's how much I love Toronto.
Is it appropriate to see it? Okay, I didn't know where you had it. So, see, I'm not saying that we influenced that, but I'm saying it's great to see that, right? And
yeah.
And then it's just great to see. It's just great to see. And, now I remember basketball players when they were coming up for the Raptors, they didn't know what it was. And they're like, oh, I think it was Davis. I'm forgetting his first name. But he was like, oh, I have to teach my kids a new national anthem and whatever. But then you see Steph Curry, like when his dad was playing for the Raptors, he was all over Toronto. And then now he's over at whatever. And it's like, we take pride in that. And in the music that we do, it's like we take pride in what we do and we represent what we do. And we represent the new artists that are coming. We represent the veteran artists that are there. Like if Mishimi was to walk in here right now, I'd lose my shit.
I met her many years ago on the first Honey Jam.
Yeah.
And I asked her, because I was trying to get into music, and I asked her, like, what was it like being a mom? Because I had just had my son in 97. And she's like, it's tough. It's on the road. You're not seeing them. But like, she didn't know me. And she was like, just kicking it, giving me advice. So it was amazing. She will not remember that at all. But we got to wrap up, and I could talk to you forever.
Oh, yeah.
Transit.
Yes.
So 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years. And this is your release. And you're out here on the West Coast doing a show tonight. So a little bit about that. I listened to a couple tracks, and so I'm not going to give it away for people, but check it out. It's amazing. And when you travel across Canada and you have this new thing out, and it's been a while, what's the set list like? Because
oh my gosh, I blow all the DJs' minds because they're like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, depends, because I watch a lot of artists perform. Like I was watching actually we were on a ride back because we were in Chilliwack last night. So when we came in here today, and I'm watching Welcome to the Hotel California. What's the name of that group again? Personality Plays.
That is, it's on the tip of my brain.
Grinning it up into something California. But anyways, but I'm watching their live thing, and I watch a lot of live because I used to work at the CNE before they broke it down. I was the guy that ran the hot dogs over to the concession stands. And so with that being said, I got to see a lot of concerts. I saw Kiss, New Kids on the Block, you name it, like all the Midnight Oil, all these groups, big concerts. And I used to watch all their concerts. And even now today, I watch concerts. It's just how they do it in concerts. And doing the transit music and having people vibe into the song themselves and then performing to it and then watching people go and sing along with the songs. Like I really don't have a answer for that, because I'm just so happy that I'm in that place where I can go and do music that people appreciate. And like, I remember I was doing a show and I had to cough on 2 lines just because, like you swallow your saliva for a minute. And they cut that and they're singing the next 4 bars for me as while I'm getting myself together. And then I just jump back in. Like, I will never take any of this for granted. I love what I do, and I love the people that I meet, and I love the places that I'm able to go and get to that I would never be. I've been to Edinburgh, Scotland. Is that on your bucket list? But when you got there and you see these big ass castles, like real castles, like not like big up to people like Casa Loma, much love and whatever. But like when you go over there and you see these castles and you see how they're built on these cliffs, and you're like, how many people fell off that cliff building that rock stone at the bottom, right? And you look at the history, and then all of a sudden Braveheart comes in your head and stuff like that and all that stuff. Back then. And those things are still standing. And I never would be able to experience those type of things if it wasn't for people supporting my music and loving the fact of what I do And I really just want to go and express to everybody, especially in Vancouver. This is a wonderful city. I always go and look at the mountains and be like, what a beautiful backdrop. Your housing prices are really high, though. I'll give you that, though. Like, that's crazy. Like, shower curtain and blouses like that. Yo, your prices are high, but your backdrop is dope. And I would never be in this position if it wasn't for the support of people just in general. And I really want them to know how much I appreciate. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. My last job was a daycare teacher. Imagine that. I was a daycare teacher. And then because when the Rascals came out with Northern Touch and that song was blowing up, and I was still a daycare teacher, but then now we going on tour and I had to go on tour. And then at that point, then my boss at the daycare was like, these kids all love you and whatever, but you're here and you're not here and you're not here. And then I had to take the leap. And I was like, I love you, Tiana. I love you, Rashawn. I love you. But I'm doing hip hop now. And then I took that jump in June. And I remember June 28th, 1998. That's my last time I worked at the daycare. And then from then, this is what I've done. And I love everybody that's been supporting me for this long. Like really, really and truly. I really appreciate it.
I'm a big fan, and I was so excited when your team said yes to this interview. And I just want to wish you a good show tonight. I'm going to be there, and it's amazing. I'm going to get to watch. And so I mean,
if I karaoke the night, you're going to come up and sing Bon Jovi with me? Pour some sugar on
I can do a little Bon Jovi. I can get that. I can do that.
Okay. That's good. That's great. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming through. And we'll have all your information in the show notes so people know where to find you and know where to find your music. And just thank you so much for doing this. And we really appreciate you, Canadian legend.
Yeah, and please check out Transit Music. Check out I'm on the road with Mocha Only and Prevail, and from Swollen members, their crew is called Split Sphere. Now check them out, and check out Transit Music from Choclair, and just check me out. There's going to be a big surprise splash, like throw a big rock in a small pond, splash, and you see how that goes. Is about to come out in about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something big. Something big is really about to happen, and it would never happen without the support of you guys. And I appreciate you guys so much. More than you know. Really.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And we really appreciate you coming through.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Big up BC, Van City. What up?
Thanks for joining us. And if you liked that episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And feel free to pick up my book, Thinking Outside the Boardroom, Creative Solutions in Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Anti-Racism, available on Amazon and everywhere else books are sold.